Hi everybody. Today I wanted to go over how to do a French knot and a colonial knot, and I wanted to do them both in this video so you can see the difference between the two because it's very subtle. So the first stitch I'm going to go over is how to do a French knot. So in order to do a French knot, you're going to come up through the fabric, and I like to secure the tail of the thread with my middle finger behind the fabric if this is your first stitch, because you're going to have just like loose thread that could slip out otherwise. So I hold it behind the fabric and I take my pointer finger and my thumb and I grab a hold of the thread. The important part about this stitch is to hold tension the whole time, because that's where people kind of get in trouble and their knot gets tangled or it's really loose. So hold firm tension on this thread, and you're going to wrap your needle around the thread once or twice or more if you'd like, but it can make your knot a little bit lopsided. And then you're going to go back down through the fabric right next to where you came up, still holding tension on the thread. And now you're going to pull through and let go, and you have a French knot. The biggest thing with this is just to kind of find a happy medium with the tension, and you also don't want to wrap the thread around too tight, because as you can see, I probably wrapped it a little bit too tight when I made that stitch because it took me a minute to really pull it through. It took more effort than it should have. So I'm going to go over it one more time. Come up through your fabric, take your pointer and thumb and hold the thread, wrap around once or twice, go back down right next to where you came up, still holding tension on the thread, and pull through. And that will give you a nice taut French knot if you keep the tension. So this is how you can do a colonial knot. So for a colonial knot, you're going to come up through the fabric, and this time you're going to take your needle and you're going to put it underneath the thread that you just came up with. You're going to then pass the thread underneath the needle like so, and then you're going to wrap once around your needle, and as you can see here, it's forming a little figure 8, and you're going to hold tension like you did with the French knot. You're going to go back down right next to where you came up again, keeping your tension, and then pull through, and that is a colonial knot. I'm going to do it one more time. So we'll come up. You're going to put your needle underneath the thread that you just came up with. You're going to take the thread and pull it from under the needle here, and you're going to wrap it over, making a figure 8, and then you're going to go back down besides where you came up, holding tension and pull through. And that is a colonial knot. And as you can see, there's really, if you look at it with your naked eye, they don't look that different. I would say the one thing that's a little bit different with these stitches, I think that the colonial knots are a little bit neater. They seem to stand up a little bit nicer, and I'm going to show you at an angle. So these are the French knots and these are the colonial knots, and I think that the French knots can get a little bit more lopsided easier. As you can see, they're not as neat. Like this one especially looks a little bit more irregular. The colonial knots are very nice and like neatly packaged, kind of. They sit perfectly like vertical on the fabric. I personally use French knots just because I think they're easier to do at a faster pace, but that is just preference. I hope this helped you guys to learn how to do both of these knots and to kind of see the differences between the two so you can pick which one you like the best. They are a little bit more challenging of a stitch than some other embroidery stitches, but they're really fun once you get the hang of them, and I promise you will if you keep practicing. Just keep working on the tension and just take your time with them. I do also have a playlist of embroidery stitches that I'm going to link below if you'd like to watch more tutorials on how to do some different embroidery stitches. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more embroidery tips and tricks. And please let me know if you don't see an embroidery stitch or a topic in embroidery that you'd like to see. I'm always open to suggestions, so please let me know. Thanks so much.